Okay, this video goes over how to make shoes. With me here is my buddy Timmy, another
What's up?
creative designer. Uh, for any humanoid robot, they're very top heavy. So to counter that, we use tracks. Now, depending on how wide you want the shoes, um, this can either be 1 or 3 rows of blocks. We're going to go with the 3 method to make it a little bit wider of a wheelbase. The tank will turn. It won't be as erratic when it comes to turning. It won't turn as fast, so you'll have a bit more control. And the difference between 3 blocks and 1 blocks is very extreme. With a 1 block gap between your tank treads, you turn extremely fast. Sometimes hard to control it. So now we're just going to go to our movement parts. And for these particular feet, we're going to try and make them wear size 4 tracks. Okay, so now we can see that we've got our tracks mounted. It raised the cubes on the floors up 1 block. And now we're just going to surround them as tightly as possible on the lowest tier. And as you can see, we're going to go even 1 lower just because I want to show you guys this. Not a lot of people realize this little trick. See how those blocks are touching the floor? The same as your tracks. So we're just going to continue to fill in, and you can do this multiple
User entered your
ways.
channel.
Go across the shoes like that. Another user has entered the channel. Hello, user. Your voice will be on YouTube.
Your voice will be on YouTube. Hi, YouTube.
Doing great. I'm making a tutorial on how to make shoes for humanoid creative bots. So I know we're using low tier tracks, track tier 4. These can be extended out, made 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever you want to do. Whatever size you want to use and whatever color blocks. And there's the phone. As you can see, I'm basically just going to fill in over that space. The shoes are almost done. This build protects these fairly well. Okay, so now we have our shoes, and we need a place to put our pilot, because this ultimately is going to be our tank area. But you don't want your pilot sitting directly on the ground, so we're going to go up a couple blocks. You don't want him sitting too far back, so we're going to go back a few, and although this capsule looks exposed, it's going to be really quite tanky. So now we're just going to go get our pilot seat and stick him, I'd say, right about there. And now we're going to go to armored prisms, because no one likes square shoes. Again, these can be any color, any tier. They'll have to use, of course, more cubes for higher tiers because of bigger tracks size. But I found this tank basically is what this part is, the tank of the bot, to work really, really well. And then whatever creative design you're putting on top, basically that's where you're going to stick your radar and your jammer if you use those parts. If not, you'll be good to go with just these. And we're going to do a bit of tri-forcing here just to redirect the damage away from the pilot seat directly. If it gets shot in the back, now that damage will transfer down. And we don't want it to spread, so that's perfect. So now in optimal situations, you'll hide your pilot seat pretty good. So that's what we're going to attempt to do, just to show you how. You don't have to do this part. You can leave it open top, because remember, what hits the bottom is what's important. Not always what's the top. Okay, so now we got our pilot and our movement, and the blocks go all the way to the floor. As you can see, there's no space between the tracks and the floor. It looks like blocks sitting on the floor. So here we go for a practice mode. Hey, don't be voice shy. Alright, so here are the tracks working in map. And they do climb well, even with a very large towering structure on top. They'll still be able to pull off the same maneuvers. So say you have a 15 block high creative bot build and the upper part is just for decoration. Sorry about the lag there, that's practice mode. Every time a bot logs in, it sort of freezes a second. But anyway, we'll try that again. And you'll notice he goes right up it with no problems. The movement, as far as you can tell, like it still looks like it's dragging directly on the ground. So the tracks are completely protected from any kind of shots at first. With the proper tire fisting technique, which I didn't really cover in this one, that's all you'll need. You know, the tier 4s will work all the way up to tier 6, 7. With enough protection, they're sufficient at tier 8. That's about as far as I would push them, though. I might go with a tier 6 track for anything higher than tier 6.
User entered your channel.
And they're just a little bit longer, but they work the same. And as you can see, we're dragging along the ground here just fine. We're not getting centered. We're able to go up some pretty steep inclines with no problem. And as always, with tracks going over inclines, generally drops you right back on your tracks because they're so heavy. You don't have to worry about the flip, the roll. So now the next part is just building whatever humanoid creation on top of the tracks you want. Thanks for watching. Any questions you can post in the comment section.